I was a typical kid, but I never really, I had a bike and I just went on it every now and again. But when I was about 30 years, I'm 62 now, so we're talking about 32 years ago, I was playing football for a team and they decided to raise money by having the cycle ride to Skegness. I'd got a bike, but I'd not really done no cycling. And yeah, so I started training for that bicycle ride to Skegness, from Sutton it was. And that's how I got into it. Yeah, bought myself a better bike, and so I thought, yeah, I'm half decent at this. And I just never stopped after that. I'm Connor's father, Steve. Connor was born in 1995, my first son. And yeah, he had a good upbringing and we enjoyed life. In 2019, at the age of 24, Christmas, he got diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, which is a very rare form of cancer. In fact, the doctors were telling me it's sort of 500,000 to 1, and he got rid of it via chemotherapy, and he carried on his sports. He played cricket, he played football, and he just carried on a normal life. But after 3 years, he was coming back and he was having more treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, and he carried on playing sport.
Connor's quality. He was known for his specialist forward defence. In his last years, I'd never seen a guy come to form ever like that. Like, he was quality. He was known as a young leg spinner when he first started, and then he turned himself into a batsman, and he was a proper opening batsman. He was number one. If you picked him in your team, he was number one. He'd dig in, he'd grit in, and he'd do it with a smile on his face every weekend.
No matter what he was going through, he'd always walk in with a smile on her face. And he'd make you laugh, or he'd say something witty or a bit daft just to lighten up the room. He would always have a joke with you.
Everyone liked him. There was no one that had a bad word to say about him. So many people knew him, but I knew him through cricket. There was friends that I've got through school that are friends with him. There were friends through football that knew him, friends through going to the football that knew him. He'd got so many different areas and groups of friends.
Funny, strong, inspirational, no end of positive words about Connor. Like I say, he'd always make you laugh, always light a room up when he entered it.
April 2023, he finally passed away, where his sort of kidneys stopped working and his organs were all failing. So we had a lot of father and son chats, knowing that he'd only got so long left. And he kept saying to me, get on with your life, enjoy life. And he says, I know you're going to grieve a bit, but get on with your life and enjoy it. And I said, do you mind if we do one last thing? Probably something in your memory next year. And he said, yeah. He says, he told me, he says, it could be cycling, won't it? I says, yeah. He says, you've always wanted to do the London-Paris. I says, yeah. He said, yeah. It was that simple. It's something that I always wanted to do, so in a way I guess it was selfish, but we did it for a good cause. We did it for the Teenage Cancer Trust.
When Connor was first diagnosed, he was very much supported by Teenage Cancer Trust, and I believe from what Steve has told me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was that support that they never forgot throughout the entire journey that they had with Connor and all of the other services, including the adult services they had to access at Nottingham City Hospital. We have lots of really kind supporters, lots of people sort of doing marathons and doing runs for us, but it's true to say that you can just sort of feel that, like, I just want to get across that this doesn't happen all of the time. We're not sort of overwhelmed with people choosing to support us on this scale, that it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I was never really going to do it on my own. The idea, I thought I'll get a team up, and it would be a team of his really close friends, people who really knew him. So I went in and asked, and obviously the first person I asked was Liam King. And Liam told me he's never cycled before and he wasn't going to start, but he'd be the driver.
Please don't ask me to bike, because I can't say no. And he went, would you mind driving welfare wagon, and I went, absolutely snap your hand off, because I thought you were going to ask me to cycle it. I was thinking, I don't want to do that.
Jess Jones, and Jess was like a brother to him, and he spoke at his funeral. So again, he liked a challenge.
Me and Connor essentially grew up together. So we went to the same primary school, went to the same secondary schools. We've always been around each other for as long as I could remember.
Where he worked, I knew there was a couple of lads who were really close to Ryan and Alex, good lads. He spoke fondly of them, as he did others. But I thought I'd ask them, and to no great surprise, they were really up for it.
He actually had asked us to meet him at the pub one night and said he had an idea, or he had a challenge for us all. So myself and Ryan went to meet him, and yeah, he just says to us, you know, look, thinking of doing a challenge next year. How do you feel about cycling to Paris? And I just knew that right there and then that I'll be on board.
September before, me and Alex also ran the half marathon in aid of Teenage Cancer Trust and in memory of Connor as well, so I was definitely up for it. And it never really crossed my mind of how far it would be or the distance. I was just like, yeah, I like a challenge.
Problem was, there was so you got Jess, Ryan and Alex, and none of them really had cycled before, but were willing to take up the challenge, so I was absolutely humbled. And then I realised they'd not got bikes, so they were all prepared to spend a lot of money to buy a bike, to train and to do it for Connor, and that really humbled me, and it's a great gesture. And there was other people that wanted to do it.
I've rode a bike when I was younger, but never actually, you know, road cycling where you buy the gear, you buy the kit, and you go out and you train. So it was literally starting from scratch.
I had to get a new bike. I'd never rode on a bike with a wheel that thin in my life.
Ryan's a bigger unit, he's about 6 foot plus, you know, and a stocky build. So, but he'd got a big heart, and he'd got a big heart, and he loved Connor.
Training was just riding to work, which is about 15 miles each way. So I was doing 30 mile a day, but max in a week I was probably riding 2 or 3 times to work.
And that was just preparing for this stuff?
Yeah.
Hello, it's Saturday the 8th of June, it's about midday, we've got the van and now I'm just packing it, and I just want to show you the sort of stuff that we've got to pack. We've got the maintenance equipment, and in there you can see, even for the tyres, spare tyre itself, got your WD-40, got your spanners, and then over here we've got the track pump. We must have a track pump. And then we're talking about the food, we've got the jelly babies, look.
So, this all came from my girlfriend's mum.
Underneath the seat you can see the water, and then just here we've got all the gels and the tablets for rehydration. There's all that there. And in the front I'm trying to think of everything here. Look, see the glove box, even some rope, you never know. So we're just about ready. I've just got a few more things to pick up, and then we'll start to put the bikes in the back this afternoon. Hope doors don't open and forage bag was flying out. Anything else? Well then, let's crack on. Right. Ready?
I'll text you.
Sorry.
That's alright. See you later. I'll keep in touch. See you, bye. Come on, we're ready.
Who's where?
I kept having texts from Steve, have you done the routes, have you done the routes? And I was going, yeah, it's all under control. And I'm thinking, no, I ain't looked yet. I know you've sent them me. And it was about the week before I started going through it, sat down at home to plan the stops. And I'd realised that one of the routes had not been sent whatsoever. We got there, but we couldn't have been that prepared because we went to the wrong hotel first off.
The first destination has been a failure. Come to the wrong travel lodge. Call himself a policeman, eh? Directing traffic.
Not the start we wanted, but I think it was, you know, it summed up the trip to come really, which was just winging it.
Right, travel lodge effort, ran 2. So hopefully this is the right one. We're only 10 mile away. Yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're just about to set off
but I can't see Jess, Rhino, Alex, just don't know where they are. It's a bad start, we're late again. And here we all are eventually. Just waiting for Liam. There's the sea, about 7 miles.
So I feel like Gary definitely led the way. He was the man at the front. He had the Garmin, Gary Garmin after all.
Gary's been sorted us out with route again. Some good, some not so good.
Gary's a good friend of mine. We worked together at Rolls Royce, and I knew he was a cyclist. Mansfield played Carlisle one night match, and we were following the Mighty Stags, and we called in at Carlisle to see Gary, and Connor gave Gary his advice on how to deal with chemotherapy and and the after effects and just things like that, and they had a good chat, and Gary respected the fact that Connor had been through it.
2022, when I got diagnosed, I'd had a couple of months of struggling to swallow basically when I was eating. When I went in for endoscopy, there it was, I got a tumour which was conjunctional with my esophagus and my stomach. January 2023, I did 8 weeks of chemotherapy starting then, and then I went on to surgery after that, which was April. And I met Connor when I was doing my first chemotherapy. Had a couple of hours with him talking about stuff really, and I was inspired by how positive he was. He'd been through far more treatment than I had at that particular time, and was still very positive. And you would never know that the sort of almost that he was going through it. That's extreme strength. I can't say enough or credit the NHS enough for what they did. And then it was back onto chemotherapy again for another 8 weeks, and carrying on really as best I could till now.
And he wanted a challenge, and I thought, I'll ask Gary, because that challenge, may help him get through. And to my surprise, very quickly Gary recovered.
And it was like, because I've been through a hard time, and it really felt like I was back to normal. Is one way of putting it. It's sort of like all felt like, I've really got through a battle, and this is what the other side looks like. So I just, I think that's really why. It's one of them things that it's a memory that I know is going to stick with me, basically to the grave. So it'll always be there.
I say Gary, we're the best cyclist. Gary, 100%. If you ask Jess, it's Jess. If you ask Steve, it's Steve. If you ask Raz and Alex, it's Gary. Gary were good. What he'd been through as well, and then to do this, unbelievable. And he didn't have a fall, and Steve did.
Steve's obviously the most experienced rider. Obviously age is on his side in that respect as well. He's had a lot more years to be able to cycle, and you could tell he is a good cyclist. Uses his gears well, knows when to push, knows when not to push. But you can be the best cyclist in the world, but when you're the only person that falls off on the trip, that puts you right down at the bottom of the pecking order for me. So yeah, Steve struggled in that respect. He looked a bit struggled with his balance, I'd probably say. I think he struggled with his balance, and again, that might be age.
Poke me out the window, I see Steve coming down the hill, and I've gone, the pub's there, pointed out the window, and all I've seen is Steve go, well, what he said was, ooh, and then straight off onto his side.
I forgot to mention about him getting up and it was his little finger that was hurting him, his little finger. I mean, his little finger, of all things.
The only bit of his body that hurt was his pinky, and he was showing us, and he was saying how swollen it is, and nothing up with it. There were nothing up with it.
Who is the best cyclist and why?
If I say anyone but Steve here, I'm going to get in trouble. But no, jokes aside, it's Steve. Yeah, his experience shines through, There were times where we were all struggling, and you could tell Steve was the one to sort of egg us all on.
Come on, Rhino. Not thought it top, pal.
Obviously day 2 was rough.
Yeah, we're here in Calais. We've got over, we're a little bit late setting off. But now we're ready. It's damp conditions and it's wet and rainy and windy.
When you've done 88 miles the day before, 5 climbs within your first 20 miles the next day, after sitting on the tunnel for an hour, being in the back of a van, I'm a big lad. it wasn't the most comfortable, so I liked cycling as a kid. I always was out on my bike, but nothing to the extreme of doing 280 miles in 4 days.
It's all going well so far. Donations keep coming in, thank you very much, appreciate it. Hopefully everyone's back well up north. We're alright down south, ready for a pint now though.
Talk to me about these Facebook Lives. Why?
I'll just try and keep the people entertained.
Had a jam donut. I'm back on road again. So I'm just driving past them now, as you can see. Jess, you're live, mate, you're live on Facebook. You're live.
I know Steve was telling more of the story of it. I just wanted to keep people up to date where people were. I know a lot of people took a lot of interest in them.
You're live on Facebook, Alex. You're live on Facebook. You're going live. I don't think Fleming enjoyed that. I got a bit close to him then. I got a bit nervous. Edge bottom, we were nearly in edge bottom again.
And they enjoyed them. Said I was wasted at doing what I'm doing. I should be in front of the camera. The pace has slackened off. Who's at the front? Jess has come through. Takes the victory.
Stopped somewhere just after Boulogne for a sandwich stop. We've been joined by the world famous Tom Dallison.
Yeah, so I got the train over from London St Pancras over to Lille, and then we did the rest of the trip, and obviously picked the guys up at intervals and met them at different spots. I used to play cricket with Connor from sort of underage group, so I don't know, maybe 10 years old, something like that. I'd pretty much always got it in my head that I wanted to go, but I'd already got some plans around the same time, so it was kind of making sure I could fit that in, which is why I kind of ended up being a late addition.
I think it was day 3. We had a bit of a storm.
It started hailing and Dallo was with me at the time, and we said we need to go get close to him now. So we got him on a live track.
And they literally, I think Steve literally rang Liam about 30 seconds before we pulled up on the corner to say, where are you? We could do with the van, because it's pouring it down basically. Words probably not to that effect from Steve, probably something a bit stronger than that.
And I pulled up and I had the beacon flashing on the top at maintenance, highway maintenance vehicle.
The hail's coming down like really tough. It's raining, like, freezing. You could hear Jess saying, "It's hurting, it's hurting."
And they turned around and they just dumped the bikes on the floor and all piled into the van because it was raining. I'm sat in the driver's seat going, "Get away from me, you're all wet," because it was nice and warm in there. I think Steve said it were happiest he's ever been to see me.
That was a good one to kind of save their bacon a little bit, which is good, which made sure the van came in useful, other than just being for spare parts and for food really, so yeah, it was good.
Not far off halfway, so we're okay. We've had to come through a storm and they came to our rescue, the van did, when it hailstoned, but we're back on track now. Check the comparison. Gliding into Beauvais now, it's sort of all downhill, the weather's turned, it was nasty to start with, but now it's absolutely beautiful, picturesque views wherever you look. It's a really easy ride, so we've got about 25 to go, and then we'll just have a few beers and get ready for the finale down the Champs-Élysées towards the Eiffel Tower.
The cycling was priority. We had to get from A to B each day, so we were sensible with the drinks in the evening until the second to last night.
Bonjour, good night everybody. Oh, look at guns! Oh, it's swollen massive.
Dallo looks like the mouse off of Flushed Away.
We all woke up with some sore heads the next morning. That was the last day when we set off, and we were due to meet at 10. And I think Jess was about an hour late.
And I needed my shower. I have to have a shower in the morning. And I needed my breakfast as well.
Final morning, getting ready, backing up and riding to Paris. It's about 50 miles. It's about 9:45 in the morning. We're waiting on Jess and Rido at the moment.
Once you'd had a couple of beers after a day's cycling, you were pretty much out for the count.
Everybody's feeling okay. We had a few drinks last night. Good night it was, really enjoyed it. But nobody's worse for the wear, and we'll soon be setting off.
We were knackered.
We're off 50 miles all the way to Paris. It looks like there's been a shower or two coming anyway, but other than that, it looks okay. Hopefully it won't take us too long. See you in Paris. Well, yeah, now we're in the outskirts of Paris. We are within 10 miles now. I had been warned by it, by Simon Gray, who did the routes, that it was tough riding through Paris, really busy city. You can see the Eiffel Tower from about 10 miles outside. It seemed to be like 100 miles that last 10 miles. Now in the inner cities of Paris, we're about less than 5 miles away from the Eiffel Tower. Still going strong, but stopping at a lot of traffic lights.
I got in about an hour before them because I knew our hotel was a bit further out. Travelled in. Merci beaucoup. Pardon. Merci. French is perfect now. Here at the L'Arc de Triomphe. Just me, Lone Ranger in it at the moment. I thought I'd just go live and just say thank you. We've just checked the total again for all the charity work. This morning it's 5,700 around that. Amazing effort. We want to keep going.
And what me and Liam did, I'm sure you'll probably know because of the footage, we went Facebook Live and we got on, we thought it'd be funny to get on some electric bikes to kind of meet the guys.
Where's the lads?
How do?
Here's our bikes, look. Where are they? Can't see them. Oh, we've lost them. Dallu's. No, he ain't got a clue.
We tackled probably about 400 yards on these electric bikes and the guys had done however many miles it ended up being.
Hello, Mum. We're here, look. We've made it. Now we just need to find them. We're like, come on lads, get here now. Because I want to have this moment with all of us there.
Hey! We're here. We are here. I'd got my wife Tracy waiting for me along with Chris Jones, a really good friend of her. That's Jess Jones's mum, and it was great to be met by somebody that you love, and that was really a nice moment. And there was a few tears, I've got to be honest.
First of all, the fact that Steve arranged them, it was an amazing surprise at the end. Stood under the Eiffel Tower and being presented with this trophy that it sorted for us all was amazing, and it's something that's sat in my living room at the moment, and yeah, there's so many memories attached to it. I think that's why Steve wanted to do it, and it was a brilliant idea, something that will never be forgotten.
It was fantastic. It's something we'd never ever forget. With people that I'd probably never ever have. I know Raz, I've never met Alex until the day of. I'd never met Gary until the day of, and we've got like a bond that won't be broken now because we've shared an experience that were once in a lifetime for all of us, I think. So it was just class. It was class.
Everybody got up, nobody stopped, nobody gave up, never. They were never going to. And yeah, I was in awe of these people, particularly the three lads that had never been on long cycle rides before. I was in awe of the way they handled it and the way they enjoyed it and just carried on and on and on. And yeah, they've all got big hearts. And I'm not sure they realised, but we actually had a tailwind all the way there.
The total that's on the Just Giving page at the minute for the bike ride alone is over £7,705.12, which includes gift aid. So like a phenomenal amount. I think that's blown Steve's initial target absolutely out of the water. And we collect all of the donations that have been made in Connor's name, and they currently stand at over £22,000, which is just absolutely staggering. Steve, Tracy and the family have decided that they would like their donations to benefit the services that Connor benefited from, and that was at our Hogarth unit, Nottingham City Hospital, Teenage Cancer Trust unit. It's really comfortable, it's got sofas, it doesn't look like a hospital ward. That's where Connor, I understand, was initially treated. And Teenage Cancer Trust are here to make sure that we put that young person first, and whilst we understand that a cancer diagnosis is absolutely devastating for both them and their family, it shouldn't shatter all of their dreams and their hopes. We want to make sure that we can focus on them and put them in the best possible place to go through this really difficult journey.
I initially thought we'd raise about a couple of £1,000, which is amazing, and I'd like to thank everybody who contributed. And I'm really humbled, and it sort of blew me away. I'll never be able to thank people enough. And it's not just it was for a good cause, it was a great adventure, and we all enjoyed it so much. You know, the secret is not to plan everything and just take it as it comes.
French now?
No. No idea. No idea.